Welcome to the session on persuasive business communications. My name is Jessie Paul, and I have around 25 years of work experience, mostly in marketing and communications, and I've worked with large IT brands like Wipro and Infosys and iGate, which is now a part of Capgemini. And 10 years ago, I started my own marketing advisory firm that works with global and Indian clients to maximize the marketing impact. So, what I'm going to do in today's session is try to distill that fairly varied and deep experience into a quick course which gives you an understanding of how you could make your communications more persuasive and get your clients to move down the path towards conversion. So first off, we have to understand the communication goals at the brand level. So we have to be clear, what is it that we are trying to communicate and what is the call to action? What do we want people to do once they read our communications? I like to use the analogy of the elephant. So, we think we're riding the elephant, but actually, if the elephant doesn't want to go where we want it to go, we're not going where it wants to go, where we want to go. So, and that's something very similar with corporate branding, where if we don't really know what we want to say, then we can't really make sure a customer knows what we're saying or, get them to go down the chosen path. Um, what I like to ask people is, where do you think the elephant goes? Well, the elephant left on its own probably heads to the nearest fruit that it enjoys. So if we don't want that to happen, we have to guide the elephant and we have to move it along our chosen path. And that is only possible when we have the guide rails in place. So, quick question for you all. Do you have a 50-word description of your key value? Do you know what we're supposed to be doing? For many of us, the answer might be B. I know what it needs to be done, but it isn't written down. Some of you may be struggling with option C. We have lots of products and services, so we can't say just one thing. And I'm really hoping none of you are in bucket D, which is I really love the elephant. So you have to write down what is your key value. And if you don't have it written down, I would suggest that you pause this session right now and just write down what is the key value that your organization offers and what is the action that you expect a customer to perform once he understands your key value. This is going to be super important because obviously, unless we know where we're going to go, we can't go there. Now, when we talk about narrative, we also have to think about how to make it persuasive. So, in the middle, if you see, I have a famous poem which is, for want of a nail, a shoe was lost, for want of a shoe, a horse was lost, want of a horse, a soldier was lost, for want of a soldier, the battle was lost. And, it's all because of the want of a nail. Now, if we are selling nails, we could talk a lot about the nail and the quality of the nail and what it's made of and so on. But really, the person who's buying the nail wants to hear about how many battles you've won with the nail. If you imagine which story is more compelling, and you can choose for yourself. So the nail certainly has a big storyline, where did it come from and all of that, and how good is the quality. 10,000 shoes and, nothing has been lost. That's great. But if I want to tell a good story, I would talk about the battle that you want to win, the war that you want to win, the kingdom that you want to win, because that is what the customer actually wants, and that's his end usage. So to know what is the end usage of your customer, it helps to look at keywords, to see what is the search words that they use before they come to your website. Talk to your sales guys and ask people what is the problem that people are solving with our solution, and then talk about that problem, not the nail. So that's learning number one. Try to talk about the kingdom, the battle, the war, not just the nail. Again, a little bit more context. If you're not familiar, this is the Maslow's hierarchy, which shows what people want. So, at the basic level is a physiological safety, physiological needs, basic sun, air, rain, those kind of things. And then you have safety, which is I just want a roof over my head and some basic food requirements. That's the second level. Once I have achieved these two, I like love, belonging. I want to have a family. I want to feel wanted. I need friends. Those needs come in. And once I have achieved that, I move to esteem. I want to be respected. And only after I've achieved these four levels will I talk about something like self actualization, where I can control my own destiny. Now, this again is really important to look at because both at the individual and at the corporate level, we have a progression. So, your product cannot appeal to someone's desire for esteem when he is still craving safety. Now, again, if a person has already achieved safety, love, and belonging, then you can't sell to him on those messages. You have to sell to him on esteem or self-actualization. It's important to keep this hierarchy in mind because each of us operates at different levels at different times in our life cycle. So, for example, in the current situation of COVID, many people may have actually gone down in the hierarchy a couple of points. So, I might have been at a certain level, but now I have fled to safety because perhaps my savings, my job, my family, my health, any of those could be at danger. So I might slip down a couple of levels. And I expect you now to talk to me at my new level. And again, for some people, you might have gone up, and therefore, again, you need to pitch it at that level. I bring this up because it gives you a wonderful framework to put down your own aspirations, your company's aspirations, and also to map that onto your prospects and their organization's needs. Always remember that it's a hierarchy and you have to appeal to the next higher level only after the lower levels have been achieved. So you must consider if, when you're talking esteem, you've taken care of the love, belonging, safety, and physiological aspects of your brand or your product. Next, the concept that I wanted to throw out here was why do people actually come online? Or why do they come out to buy? It's identity. I come out because I want to show that I'm a fan or I like this or I'm a musician. Something in my identity resonates and I've come out to showcase that. So you might say you're a green warrior, you might want to show you're a budget shopper, or you might want to put out your picture to show that you're stylish. All of that is to do with identity. The second reason I come online or outside to communicate is information and education. That's pretty simple to understand. More so with COVID, I've had to do a lot of stuff myself. I am looking for information and education in these new spaces. Not just the broader term of education in terms of school or a university. Entertainment, of course, is something we as human beings love, and we go online and offline for that. We're also creatures of a herd, so we like to hang out with people like us, whether social or in person. We come online for our professional needs, and which could be, LinkedIn, email, anything. And then, of course, transactional, like come online to pay a few bills, maybe, or to book a ticket. So these are the primary reasons that people come online. And anything you do other than this, it basically means that you're interrupting or taking away from what they came online to do. So you've got to be persuasive and amusing or informational or talk to their identity, but you've got to align with what they came for. So, a quick shopping expedition, a little break for you. So here's a lovely phone called a fair phone. It's the fairest of them all because it's made fairly, it has a transparent supply chain, it's great to all the workers involved. It's also better for the earth, it's repairable, it lasts for 5 years, it comes with a screwdriver so you can like change the battery if you need to. The Guardian newspaper called it the most ethical and repairable phone you can buy. It's Android 9, it's 1 centimeter thick. The camera rear has a 12 rear camera is 12 megapixels and the selfie is 8 megapixels. It's 45,000 rupees and ships in 3 weeks. Pretty good phone. Make your notes. I'm going to ask you to make a choice after I show you the next product, right? So just take a quick look at this, take a picture of it if you need to. The next phone is a pineapple. It's almost like the perfect phone, or that's what they say. It's 224 megapixel camera. It's 5G. It's designed by Jonathan Ive, who is the really famous chief design officer for Apple who left recently. And it's a personal phone for Elon Musk, Anand Mahindra, and Billie Eilish. Same day delivery in India. And the only catch is you can only get it by referral. So you've got to go to the Facebook fan page where they have 50,000 fans, and they're pretty confident that, you know, if you deserve this phone, you would know someone in that fan group and get yourself a referral. There's a freebie of unlimited broadband for 36 months with Jio or Airtel, and it's priced the same as the Fairphone at rupees 45,000. So make a note of all of this, take a picture if you have to, because the next one comes your first challenge. Which phone would you like to buy? The pineapple or the Fairphone? What do you think? So I'm going to ask you to make a note of whether you said A or B, and we're going to go to the next slide. Which phone is fake? Is it A or is it B? Again, think carefully and make a decision. So now I'm going to cover a little bit about the 6 principles of persuasiveness, and then we'll come back to talk about the phone. So just hang in there. So the 6 principles of persuasiveness are that you need to have a superlative heuristic, a trusted authority who endorses it. And the heuristic means that there is a short and simple way to give you the facts you need. So for example, when we compare a phone, we like to know the camera details. So if I tell you it's, 8 megapixels or 200 megapixels, that might be the clinching factor for you. For others, it might be the size, the thickness. For others, it could just be whether it's Android or iOS. But when we make a judgment, it's based on this heuristic. It's not the same for everybody, but a segment of the audience would have a certain heuristic in mind, and you have to own the superlative there. You've got to be the best in that space. Secondly, we need a trusted authority to tell us that this thing is really good, which is why people put doctors and medical professionals out there. Dentists do it all the time. But somebody like a Gartner in B2B or a Forrester would be trusted. A certification would also be a good proxy. You have, a process or a quality certification. Those would also work. We love to have someone tell us that this thing is good. Social proof, again, we are herd people. We love to hear that other people have also bought the same thing. So that's social proof. The power of now. In many ways, we never grew up from being a toddler. We want it right now. So the faster something is, the happier we are. We will wait for the right thing, but between two similar objects, we'd love the one that's available faster. Scarcity is where there isn't a lot of it, so I have to grab it fast, or there is a reason why it's special. I have to get it. It's a limited edition, anything like that. The reason is that we like to feel special that everybody didn't get exactly the same thing, but it's also important from another perspective, which is if I am allowed too much time to make a decision, then possibly I don't make a decision or I eventually go and buy competition, which is why you will see many offers saying that available only for the next 3 days or sale, getting sold out, only 3 pieces left. That's how they create scarcity bias. Lastly, we have the power of free, which is everybody loves something free. And it doesn't have to be the big thing or the little thing. Could be a sticker. I mean, every time I buy an apple, I'm embarrassed. I mean, there are 2 little stickers in there, and you're like, for such an expensive product, stickers is all I get. But then I realized my daughter loves those stickers. She takes them out, she sticks them everywhere, and it brings joy. It's like finding, an extra ice cream in a box of 12, anything like that. We love the idea that something came free. Again, we know from our own experience this is true, but Google did a ton of research recently around that called the messy middle research. You can Google that. So it's a combination of that as well as my experience and insights. So let's come back to the phones. The perfect phone, the pineapple, it had the superlative heuristic. So it had an amazing camera and 5G. It had a trusted authority endorsing it, that's Jonathan Ive, and it has social proof of a number of very famous people who use it. It offered you same-day delivery, and you could only get it by referral, so there's a little bit of scarcity bias, plus the free unlimited broadband. Now, if you chose the pineapple as your choice of phone, then you know why. It was because it had all the marketing tick boxes here. Now, of course, if you chose the Fairphone, it probably meant that you were eco-friendly, you love DIY. So it did not have a trusted authority. It did not have a social proof. It could not meet power of now. It really had scarcity bias only in terms of not being, famous. And it did not offer you something for free. But for you, the heuristic was very strong, and therefore you probably chose the Fairphone. But having said that, when I do live sessions, I find most people go for the pineapple, and that just, reinforces these hypotheses that these make people want to buy a particular product, and it's the secret of your persuasive communication. So the customer journey also varies across the point in time. They have search, they have evaluate, and then they have use. So if you take the cell phone, I initially go in and look for something in my price range, or with my heuristic, I probably shortlist 2 or 3, and then I evaluate which one I want to buy. And then when I move to use mode, I'm probably looking for, this thing doesn't work, or how do I make use of this feature, or how do I get started? Any of those things come in. So that's the next part of it, right? And in each of these cases, we want to have the message, the media, and the format to be different and targeting the particular stage of the journey. So the message is different, the media might be different, like I might, let's say, use physical media, billboards, newspaper, for example, for the search, maybe evaluate, I do it entirely online. In use, I might just have a chatbot or a call center for you to call and find out more, or I might use user videos. So at every stage, you have to craft your message according to where they are. And media, again, has 3 different types of media. There's paid, owned, and earned. And paid you would typically use for reach, because that's typically why you reach out to them. They have greater circulation than what you're able to get on your own. Owned we go to for frequency, and that's also because it's the lowest cost, but you're able to capture your audience and reach out to them often. And this is an ideal situation for you. And then we look for credibility, and that is earned. So typically a third party endorsement or anything like that would come in here and provide you with credibility. And again, at each stage of our journey, our needs are different. So I might want reach at the awareness stage, and at the evaluation, I might need to talk more about frequency. And again, at the evaluation stage, I need credibility as well as in the awareness stage. And once I'm a user, you could pretty much move all your communication into your own channel and ensure the appropriate amount of frequency. Why I like to put this framework up is because one size does not fit all, And also from a cost perspective, typically your own media is the cheapest, and you have to figure out where you can use it best and how much can you use it and where do you need to actually spend for paid and earned. So a simple framework again, you put in your core brand value, look at your target audience, and then the messaging appropriate for that particular target audience. And what would you say if it was in paid media, earned media, and owned media? So you've got to map it across all three types of media, across your different types of target audience, and therefore the messaging would also vary, but your core brand value would remain the same. A quick snapshot of content magnets. This is the kind of content people want to see. As you can see, they really like video, they like online classes, news articles, social media, and research content. Again, intuitively, this is true, but there is some research, not exactly perhaps what you're looking for, but I thought it was a good signpost. And intuitively, you get that these are the trending pieces of content. So to focus your content strategy on these. So we have the core offering, then the persuasive drivers, and then the kind of media that is owned, earned, and paid, and also the types of communication that people want to see, because that makes it even more persuasive for them. Some examples of content magnets. So again, I'd advise you to look these up, but JCB for a rather, what we would consider not a very exciting product, maybe, it still has a really exciting product called the Dancing Diggers. Every year they do a show where they show that their diggers are very flexible and able to move around very agile. But imagine they've been doing it since 1975, and that's really what makes it sticky. So year on year, people like to go and see the Dancing Diggers. Okay, and we're back. Blendtec is another example of a great content magnet. It's a blender which they've been doing for years, I think since the launch of the first iPhone. So they throw in an iPhone and show you that whether will it blend. So they ask, will it blend? And then they show you. So they do Alexas, they do a bunch of things. Any new gizmo that comes out, they do it, and it's to show that their blades are really strong. Again, very impressive, persuasive, and engaging communication, sorry. McKinsey Quarterly, even though it is a commercial proposition, it still has a huge subscriber base, and it is considered on par with Harvard, which is a subscription, a paid subscription, quarterly in the same league. So from McKinsey, this does amazing wonders for its brand. Similar piece is Knowledge at Wharton, which started a newsletter 20 years ago, and again is now highly respected as a source of knowledge. So when we say content, it's not always just one blog or one ad. It can be properties that last for decades, and that is really where the value comes for you. So a quick look at positioning and differentiation. So I have a couple of frameworks for both of those. So brand house is something I would advise you to spend maybe a couple of hours to put together to understand who are you, why buy me, and why not buy someone else. Because when we talk about your core brand value, this differentiator, why should they buy you and not someone else, that has to be known. That's really the key to getting the elephant to go where you want it to go. You have to get this answer right. And typically when I run this for a client, it's around a week to 2 weeks of pre-work and a one-day session. So if you're doing it in-house, do put in the effort to really understand, talk to your clients, talk to internal stakeholders, talk to some employees, and then put this together. Another concept is a core and a surround concept. So typically we talk about the delivery process or the quality or the customer benefits. That's what I would call the core attributes. But there is a lot of surround attributes as well. Like, we talked about the nail and the battle. Now, we could talk a lot about the quality of the nail and how it helps you and why it's such a good nail. But we could also talk about the country of origin. If I told you that it came from, let's say, Sweden, then you would think differently of that than if I said it came from India or China or Korea. So you could add country of origin. If I told you that it was really eco-friendly, then again, your perception of my nail would change. If I told you that it contributes to the community at large, if it contributed 1 cent to charity for every nail you bought. So all of these start to tell a story as well. And when we only use core, then we are leaving all these story attributes on the table and making the holistic piece a little less exciting to the consumer. Because most products cannot keep talking about core. Things do not change so often. Improvements are not so relevant to the customer. Therefore, the storytelling does require the surround attributes as well. And then we have the 4 Ps, which most of you would be familiar with, the Kotlerian 4 Ps to describe our product. And then we move to mapping our messaging as per the target audience, which stage they are in, then the product attributes that are relevant to them in the stage they are in, and then the 6 Ps that are relevant to the audience in the stage they are in. So you would have to put this together as like a workshop maybe in-house and look at your product, which stage are people, what content do they want, and each piece of content ideally should cover all 6 Ps, but if not possible, then at least during the duration of the campaign, you must cover all 6 Ps. So maybe each piece of communication has only 2 Ps, but as a whole, you cover all 6. I would like to end with this happy thought that big campaigns are always easier than small ones because once you've got your 6 Ps organized, it's just easier to run them, over and over again. And I showed you some examples. So rather than pursue tactical wins, look at big ones. Can you put together a parade? Can you build a community? Do you want to run an award? Do you want to win an award? These will give you disproportionate returns over small tactical pieces that even you find hard to get excited about. I give you an example, IDC Ichopal, which was something where I had actually conceived a award while at Infosys called the Wharton Infosys Business Transformation Award. So this was, we were a fledgling marketing team. We came up with this idea and we got Wharton to partner with us. And actually, Ichopal was the winner in the first year. And it was something which could have been just a 50 lakh idea, but became a 10 crore idea. And even today, it's actually resulted in huge impact, higher farmer incomes, great way for IDC to get into the agricultural space. So now we come to a simple thing. We talked about why do people come online or for shopping? What can you do there? So you could offer to help them with their identity, even bumper stickers matter, right? So something like Team BHP, people sign up for the bumper sticker. You feel proud carrying it with you. You can either be a JCB, you can have toys, Caterpillar has footwear, so you can look at accessories as well. Research, DIY training, pretty self-explanatory, but entertainment could be a part of any brand. And, if you're a serious brand, do a documentary. If you're a fun brand, you could do games. Set up user groups. Folks like Oracle, SAP do a great job. They run massive user groups and they get tremendous feedback and value from this. Do you offer a job portal, at least on your side for your company? And of course, the simple transactional stuff should be really simple and easy to track and good to do. So with that, I've come to the end of this little seminar on persuasive business communications. My contact information is here. If you would like a longer session for yourself or for your organization, do mail me and we'll see what we can work out. It's been a pleasure having you with me for this last half an hour, and I do hope that you found it of value. And again, stay in touch. Thank you. Bye-bye.